In my earlier class, I talked on poetry and its two divisions. Now in this class, I shall talk on poetic terms. Poetic terms are very, very important to an English literature student should know the poetic terminology. That is, different names are put to the kind of different thoughts produced in various modes. That is called lyric, sonnet, ballads, epics, mock epics, and satire. Such as one form of poetry, just like lyric, it has its own ways to express the ideas of the poet to the readers. In ancient times, mainly in Greek literature, the term lyric comes from it, because the ancient man, he thought that he was singing by his own self. The unsystematic expressions. In later days, of course, writings have become systematic and they were to be written in such a form only. But in those days, it was only a musical instrument that is called lyre, L-Y-R-E. And to that lyre, to the accompaniment of that lyre, a singer sings his own feelings. Sometimes his feelings were rugged too, not very much polished. But it was enjoyed by the reader or the others, because it was thought polished by the beautiful voice of the singer. The voice of the singer accompanied with a musical instrument. So this was given effect to a name called lyric. And sometimes it is a chorus song, a choric song. Lyric song one kind and choric song is another kind. Choric song means a collection of singers. A collection of singers singing, accompanied by musical instruments, and sometimes it is followed by dancing also. So this is called choric singing or chorus. In both these forms, musical instruments were treated as very important, and the voice of the singer or singers is very important. The language might be rugged, might be very rough, but it was smoothened by the very beauty of the singer's voice. And so, in course of time, these led to the polished language. First it was rugged language, unpolished, but in course of time it was polished language that plays a very crucial role in lyrics. And slowly metric compositions came into existence. Metric compositions means meter, end of the words, vowels and consonants arrangement. Vowel consonant arrangement, that became very important in later days. And according to the meter, these lyrics were formed. And still in modern days, thought became very important. Along with language, thought was also important. The subject matter was very important. The matter which he thought, which the singer or the poet thought, should be very useful to the listener or the society. So in later days, most of the writers like Keats, Shelley, Byron, like these modern writers used these lyrics or lyrical forms in their writings. They used lyrics, they used odes, and some of them used ballads. So in all these are all almost nearer to one another. The main theme is what he has seen and what he feels important in the society. The themes of the society, the people, their languages, their struggles, found expressions in these lyrics. In a lyric, first 2 or 4 lines, the author poses some idea or a question or an enigma because he feels it. And in subsequent lines of the lyric, he slowly tries to give answers to what the questions he posed in the beginning. Because he poses a question and he tries to solve, he tries to find answers to those questions. And this is how lyrics were formed. The structure of the lyrics can be divided into 3 distinct parts corresponding to the 3 moods through which the poet passes when inspired by some emotions. The first part, which generally consists of the first 5 lines, are at the most of the first stanza, states the emotion which has set the poet's imagination working. So as I now already told you that first stanza sets, or first 5 lines sets the emotion of the writer. That is very important. And according to the emotion of the writer, what he poses there, he will try to solve the problem. There is a critic called Ian Happel, calls it the motive or the cause of movement here, emotional movement. What is this writer calls it as Heppel, N. Heppel, calls it as the motive of the speaker or motive of the singer, emotional movement. In Wordsworth, Daffodils, it is a lyrical movement we find in it. A girl, a lonely girl, reaping and singing on the hill slope in England. So the writer was very much impressed by it. It was a lone thought. It was not choric thought. It was a lone thought. Means one voice, one emotional continuity. One thought started and ended in that poem, Daffodils. It attracted much to the writer Wordsworth, and perhaps Wordsworth composed that poem after listening that poem while he was passing by. After reaching to his destination, he composed that poem with a lyrical effect, because the voice is lone voice. The lyrics' main quality is only one emotional voice beginning to the ending. It conveys some idea in the form of a lyrical song. So this way, Heppel calls it the motive. Here the emotional, since it was the ball rolling, the second part, which forms the bulk of the poem, consists of the thoughts suggested by the emotion. The second part is the middle of the poem, perhaps, in our general understanding. It is the middle of the poem. It consists of general thoughts supporting the main idea, the main thought. And by this time the reader comes to an understanding that this is a lone thought, this is a lone idea that is passing through the mind of the singer. The second part, which forms the bulk of the poem, consists of the thought suggested by the emotion. By this time it is well advanced in intensity, and therefore the expression reaches its highest pitch of eloquence or passion. So because in the middle of this lyric, the lines reach to the highest pitch of emotion, the reader may be arrested by the pitch of the emotions expressed by the singer. And slowly it starts in the beginning and it reaches to the highest level where his thoughts, the movements of his thoughts arrest the listener or the reader, just like the thoughts and a song produced by the lone singer in Daffodils. Well advanced in intensity, and therefore the expression reaches its highest pitch of eloquence or